So, in a recent video, we were out trying to find the wreck of the HMS Bulwark, which exploded off Sheerness at the very beginning of the First World War. And while we were there, we took the opportunity to get some shots of something else not far away from that wreck that's washed up in the mudflats.
Me and my dad are just off to try and find the Bulwark. Now, somewhere off over there, we think we can see something else as well that might be interesting. So there might be a nice little surprise down there as well. We'll find out. Right, we've made it. We're apparently in the best spot right here, apart from actually going out to it, to be able to see this submarine.
Lying not far offshore, just off the Medway Estuary, is German World War I U-boat UB122. At least that's what most people refer to it as.
It's on Google Maps as that, but no one really knows whether it is that one. It could be one of several different U-boats that were scrapped at the end of the First World War.
It could be UB122, it could be UB144, 145, 150, UB121. The story around this U-boat has never been confirmed. During the war, German U-boats sank more than 12 million tons of shipping. That's, to put that into perspective, that's about 5,000 ships, and thousands of human lives were lost to these stealthy steel killing machines. I mean, you might be thinking, oh my god, how did we let a German U-boat halfway up the Medway Estuary? And also, when we destroyed it, why did we just leave it there? Surely this is, like a war grave. There are human remains here. But that's not what happened to this submarine. It has a slightly less dramatic end. Now, this was one of the 100 or so U-boats that after the Germans surrendered at the end of World War I, were surrendered to the British Navy. Now, there was a whole period of time where nobody really knew what to do with the U-boats. Lots of different countries wanted to lay claim to anything that Germany surrendered at the end of the war, including these U-boats. But for the few years after the war ended, they were being kept in the UK. Some were given to France as part of the war reparations package, but a lot of them were basically scrapped. And lots of U-boats like UB122 were broken up and had components taken out and recycled, reused wherever they could be. And that, we think, is how UB122 ended up where it is today. There were several of these 100 or so U-boats that were lost, mostly while being towed from one place to another. There was one that washed up in Hastings before it was completely removed, and the general consensus is that UB122 was taken to Medway and Hauling and had its diesel engines removed and fitted into a local cement works. And then in 1921 was being taken back down the river towards the Thames Estuary to essentially finish being scrapped. And it would seem that en route, the tow line broke and it washed up where we can see it today. There's a place called Humblebee Creek, and it has sat there ever since. But it hasn't remained completely untouched. We were talking to some locals who told us that they know people in the local area who have gone out and have portholes from the U-boat and different bits and bobs that they managed to get off of it. But obviously there's this huge hunk of metal, so no one's getting a JCB or a truck out there to take huge portions of it. So people over the years have just taken little bits and bobs where they could.
But you can see, despite the number of people who've come and taken parts of it, there is so much of the shell of that U-boat left there that it will be there for another 100 years, easily.
And it would seem that this is the only one of these U-boat wrecks, these U-boats that went missing, that you can actually see from the UK shoreline. Interestingly, there are others out there. Some have been discovered, but there are some that we have no idea where they are. And their remains could still potentially be discovered at any point. Or they may be gone forever. In all honesty, they probably are gone forever. But this is the only one that you can still see and even get to. We decided that we weren't exactly prepped to go wading out into the mudflats. We didn't have a boat. There was no one around to really ask to borrow a boat to go out there. I think that might have been a bit much. But from where we were stood, we were able to get these incredible drone shots. And if you are adventurous and careful, you can definitely still get out there. If you look on Google Maps, it's clear that people have either waded or taken a rib out to this U-boat. But ultimately, I think you'll agree, it's incredible that we can still see the remains, over 100 years later, of one of Germany's deadly, stealthy killing machines, just right there in the Medway Estuary. These things terrorised shipping throughout the war, and to just be able to see it out there with the naked eye, it's a haunting reminder of those scary times that weren't that long ago.